Hello and welcome to Martini's Eco and Country Bites here on Edge Radio Australia. I'm in the studio.
You are. Lovely to see you. Absolute pleasure.
My friend, Mr. Aaron Malloy.
Oh,
Hey.
look, I've been called many things. Friends, I'll take. Yeah.
Friends probably the best you'll get. But...
Yes, yeah. Certainly, it's been quite a morning. That's the best I will definitely get. It's great to be here because obviously you do a wonderful job. Normally from down south, but you move all around and you're chasing the little bites everywhere, whether they be eco or country.
Yes, I do. I get a lot of bites on the things that I throw out there. Some of them are good, some are great, and some of them, they're the other end of the spectrum. Today, we've got a bit of an interesting conversation that I think is more than just topical. I think more and more every day, Australians are starting to see that the democratic processes and the processes that used to hold this nation such high regard are being dissolved and dismantled.
No question about it. Yeah, absolutely. So look, we start with a bit of, a bit of smile and a bit of lightness, but the reality is it's pretty heavy stuff. As Australians, we've got theoretically a democratic society. These people are supposed to. Yes, people in Parliament are supposed to represent us. I always love the word representative because I don't see a lot of that going on. But we've found that we've hit the wall, and there's been a lot of false narratives, a lot of outright, which is a lovely way of saying lies.
It's a very polite way,
isn't it? Yeah, I've been practicing. But do you want to jump into the show and let's have a talk about some of the experiences that you've had?
Yeah, look, I think it's the elephant in the room.
Yeah, very much.
The Senate inquiry that's gone down this week about the inquiry of the Senate and this government into organisations and groups. Of course, everyone knows that I'm part of Save Our Beloved Geograph Bay and all the other groups around Australia, not just about offshore wind turbines, but also onshore. And there was a Senate inquiry into us.
Into you.
Into us. So everyday Australians that don't really agree with the narrative that the government's doing, or this steamrolling of this whole ideology, this whole industry that doesn't represent our communities. I
think you've just nailed it. Steamrolling. That's the thing. And every time all of these cases I hear about, they say, "Oh, we've consulted with the community." Rubbish, absolutely rubbish. Every single community I've spoken to, it's been one of those box ticking exercises. It hasn't actually been genuine discussion, really.
No, there hasn't. And there's been some really kind of alarming things that happened during this process. But I think it's great because what it is, it's showing these people's cards. So they have to show who they really are in these processes because their wording, their terminology, their accusations, and it's like continual gaslighting. Let's be honest. And I think this is what we need to have that discussion is now we're feeling like we're being gaslit continually.
Agreed.
By this entire nation, by this government. Yesterday with the Senate inquiry, there is a particular video here. We're going to play that video one. And that's about one of the senators, her name. It's got it on the details. You can take down her information. I'm sure that on her Facebook page, social media, and perhaps if you can find her email address, you'd like her to justify exactly what she's saying.
Great.
So maybe we'll just watch this. And this is her throwing shade at community groups that are very organised, that they've come together. They've been totally committed and dedicated to doing what the community feels is right for them to push back at this government and these foreign corporations. These are foreign corporations coming in to destroy our land, our oceans.
To profit from them, and what is in it for Australians?
And
what are you doing to the environment? You might want to pop the headphones on for a moment if you wish to listen to the video. Of course, for those listening at home, that'd be great. And I'd love to know your opinions, your thoughts. This is an open forum, so if you have any comments, please come forward with them.
Yeah, let's just watch this, shall we?
And who is behind this sort of funding? Billboards don't come cheap. I doubt a community group could raise the money for a billboard. So neither do Facebook campaigns either. So what can you tell us about the players behind these sorts of activities?
What I know from the work of Dr. Jeremy Walker is that it's linked back to the Atlas Network. And
Just earlier in the evidence, I might have missed this, I think. Sorry, I've been at a kids' soccer carnival today, so dropping in and out. But I've been contacted by people from the Hunter region concerned there was a suggestion that billboards against offshore wind were funded by sources not the community. Their claim is very strongly that all of those billboards were funded by local community donations, raffles. They raise money. I just want to clear up the record then for them. Do you have any evidence that these billboards in the Hunter region, Port Stephens region, were funded by anybody else other than community donations?
They didn't say that.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not sure. I'm just trying to clear it up. I didn't accuse anybody or anything. I'm just trying to clear it up. Is there any? Do you know of any evidence?
Thanks, Matt. I will say that they didn't say they were funded. They said that advertising was being used to spread these frames, but they didn't say they were directly funded by.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But do you want?
Okay.
Could you clarify that? Whoever said that, I can't remember. Apologies. Which witness said that? But would you also like to clarify that?
It may have been me. Yeah, look, just to clarify, our expertise is not that side of the misinformation. Our expertise is the impact on industry. And then I just pointed to the work of Dr. Jeremy Walker and his links that he has made between Atlas Network and misinformation in offshore wind.
That's fine. And
Okay. Let's pause there.
Let's unpack.
Wow, there's so much to unpack. So the allegations have been that community groups are being funded. Like, I don't know where that money's gone. And I tell you right now, it wasn't blown at the pub on Sunday sessions. God knows I probably needed it over the last couple of years.
But we've used the term misinformation. They love misinformation, disinformation. That is, again, it's utter lies. You're using...
It's slander.
It is slander. Very, very true. Like you are... And also the creative use of language.
Yeah.
Right?
But then I didn't say it, this backpedaling.
Oh, you didn't say it? No, of course.
So they've accused them to being conspiring to be part of some global network. I don't even know who Atlas is. So please, if anyone's watching and you know who and what Atlas is, and they are supposed to be behind all of these groups that are funding for this, what they call is the misinformation that is being spread instead of the missing info. We're saying the spreaders of missing information, and it's all missing because this federal government has failed on every level.
Every front.
Before this industry came in, they didn't do any processes before.
Yep.
The whole process in between, and then what's happening now with the consultation that failed, it's gone so bad. It's absolute train wreck. It's carnage to its maximum.
Listen to
This
her
is damage
words.
control.
Yeah. Exactly right. That is damage control. You're watching her backpedaling, covering up for the fact that they haven't gone through the processes. They haven't done it. They have not really genuinely consulted with the community in any way, shape, or form. Because let's face it, we've looked at the stats, and the community is saying no. The community is always saying no. Consistently. So again, if you represent the people, why are you doing this? Why
are they investigating us?
Oh, well, because
I want to know what you're doing with our money.
I'll tell
but
you
when
what.
we put it back, this is what's happening.
Well, they're moving the shells. That's what they're doing. It's a shell game. Right now, what they're trying to do is obviously they take attention from themselves and the crimes that they're actually engaged in. And look, they put the spotlight on innocent people. And also that there's defamation here, okay? Certainly the fact that they're inferring that there's money changing hands, it's a lie. These people should be in jail, not in Senate inquiries. This is the bureaucratic process that we've got.
So here it's like what the statement was is that she can't believe that communities could organise themselves just because you bunch of bureaucrat losers over there in Canberra can't get your act together. Doesn't mean us in communities, especially small communities that care and have engendered stewardship of that area, we can't get it together to send a clear message visually and in every other way because you're not listening to us. They think that we can't do that. Wow, you have greatly underestimated the people of Australia.
Oh, you're fired up and all of that. But there's so many people who should be fired up.
People should be
honestly,
hell angry.
if you're in a relationship and somebody's treating you like this, you wouldn't stand for it, okay? You wouldn't stand for the gaslighting.
It's called domestic abuse.
Well, it is. And we are in a domestic abuse relationship with our government right now.
Absolutely.
The bureaucrats, these people who are not elected, these people who fall into these positions, the ones that you see at these Senate inquiries, right, with these huge salaries, have never had a real job in their entire life.
No.
And they go there and they're talking about issues that are going to affect everybody's everyday life.
Yeah.
No, they need to be held accountable. Now, I'm not I could certainly say the American system's got a lot of faults, but with the bureaucrats over there, they actually have to win their seats to a large degree.
Not like the parties just put them in position.
That's right.
Yeah,
we've got to
highest bidders.
That's right. Yeah,
whoever their backers are, and this is where we need to say, look, you're trying to point the finger at us. So the thing is that most of the communities that I have even had any interaction with are the most hard-working human beings. I know how many hours I put in for Save Our Beloved Geograph Bay. Some weeks it's only 20 and others it's like 100 hours a week. And that's all volunteer based. We don't get anything, and yet you represent us. You stand there and try and hold us accountable for all your failings. Game on. Let's go to video 2. And this is the clap back from the Hunter offshore. This is gold.
Now, is there audio for this?
No, this is silent. It's the silent, deadly one.
We're getting the silent, deadly treatment.
It is.
Gotcha. Okay.
So just read along, people. So this is how they've justified. This is what they did to make sure that they could have their signage. So their materials cost $400. Sign writing was donated by a local who was a professional sign writer.
Makes sense.
Installation cost there. This is great. Not having any idea how small regional communities stick together.
I do love the sound effect right at the end there. Absolutely
Clueless.
Beautiful. They are clueless. But I actually...
There's still more here.
My apologies.
Yeah, and
there we go.
It's the next bit that is gold because
let's have a look.
Here for us, it's brought to you by the Association Muppet Show.
Nice touch.
So well done, my friend Ricardo.
Thank you, Ricardo. You've got a great sense of humour, mate. Fantastic. And as Aussies, that's who we are. We like to have a sense of humour about things, but about very serious things. But these Muppets are running our lives. Look, politics is the rules for life, right? The how society runs. And when you've got people with such utter arrogance running these things, then when are they actually ever doing the job? And they just aren't. That is the reality
it's
of it.
Complete disregard for the processes and their actually job description. As public servants, they're supposed to represent the people.
Of course
they've sworn an oath to represent us, but all they're doing right now is attacking us. So it's a real concern that this is the case because, again, we go back to this, feel like they're gaslighting us continually. They're calling us mis and disinformation, but then we're saying, Matt Canavan, thank you so much for all of your efforts. He
thoroughly agree.
He was getting contacted by community groups from all across Australia, and he was trying to represent them and had terrible connection. I could hear him saying it's cutting in and out, which is a challenge, but he was the only one right there at that point that was fighting for us. And this is where there is one audio. There's actually something I wanted to include, but I haven't today. And that is a submission by Jennifer Marahasi. Now, she's a marine researcher. So I'm going to ask everyone to go and look up Jennifer Marahasi. So she's an incredible science researcher on the Great Barrier Reef. And her submission into this whole process was never even tabled. They never gave it a number. And if you go and look on her Facebook page and go and follow that incredible woman, she has been dedicated to looking at the bleaching processes of the Great Barrier Reef and from a very objective science-based, ecology-based science and evidential science where it's not based on modelling and, wait a second, manipulation of data and modelling for political reasons. And the reason that they are using this under climate hysteria. So she said it's always been politicized, and we called this out last week to Mr. Watts, who is, what's his name? Yeah, it is what's his name.
I thought so.
He's up there saying they've done a great job at looking after the Great Barrier Reef, but it's okay to be destroying all of this Geograph Bay, which is like basically one of the biggest biodiversity hotspots on the planet. It's a nursery for protected species, and it's a nursery for endemic species for where they come in to even be born and then distribute themselves. So this is what it's about. So this is why Geograph Bay in WA is so unique.
It's utterly vital.
Yeah.
It really is.
So,
and it's also like, I mean, I obviously care about the environment. But
Yeah.
it's not just an environmental issue here. It comes out to dollars and cents and food on the table for families.
Yeah.
You know, so much of that area is all about the fishing industry. So much of about
Tourism capital.
Absolutely.
It's an international destination.
When you destroy, yeah, look,
and so are all the other regions that are involved in this, all
Totally
along the
agree.
Hunter,
very, very true.
down in Tasmania, 90 Mile Beach in Victoria. These are all tourist capitals.
That's right.
And I tell you right now, go down to any of those areas in summertime and all you're going to find
Yep.
is that whole economy is going to be completely boosted by tourism. I guarantee you people will not be returning because that's what we're getting from Nantucket.
Yes.
That's what we're getting from people that in that area over
Good
there. They're
point.
selling. They're not going there in the masses that they used to
Well,
because it is naturally destroyed. It's
you go down
the
to
beautiful nature that it was.
You go down to gorgeous Bustleton, okay, and
Yeah.
you're out there on the jetty, or even you're sitting there or standing there on the beach. You look out there, you're having a coffee at the cafe, whatever the case may be. Now imagine you look out there and it looks like Rick Hart's fan world. All right, you know, it destroys that entire area. That's
Yep.
crazy.
It is.
It's absolutely crazy. And if there was a massive environmental benefit to this, like you can't ever justify it, but you know, you can come a little bit. But when you actually realise,
No.
as has been brought forward by fantastic people, in fact, you know, a staff of politicians have brought this forward. It's a scam. It is a money laundering
Barnaby.
scam.
The
Yeah,
swindle.
damn straight. Good
Barnaby
video.
had it
That.
right.
Very true.
It is.
All
We're going
right.
to go to pick one, and
We
this
are.
gentleman is the one that has thrown us over here, and that's out.
Yep,
back
pick
to
one,
that
yep.
one. So this is Senator Wish Wilson.
Let's have a look.
So look at this for gaslighting.
Okay.
So the caption is, we want to scrutinise. We want offshore wind farms closely they want it scrutinised, but we want to see them go ahead. So scrutinise, but don't mention the whales while wearing a whale pin.
No way. I just noticed that.
And here's the one who has allowed the going forward with the marine survey. So while Bowen was off flitting around, doing his social media stuff, making himself look like a big man.
I don't think that's possible. but
Yeah,
okay.
no, he's not a big man to me whatsoever.
No.
He runs from me, from little blonde ladies. I'm scary,
She is
apparently.
scary, though.
So, and this is what we're getting to. So we can see that there's a foundation of
Yeah.
mis and disinformation.
Very
They're
true.
trying to throw slander at us, saying that we're being funded by. Actually, it was black money. That was one of the terms that there was
okay.
corrupt money, dirty corporate money. I'm like, well, dirty corporate money is being thrown at this whole industry. This whole industry is run by what I regard as a wind mafia.
Yeah.
Someone proved me wrong, because this is all pushed by the Goa Agreement, which is a Danish nation.
Sure.
The company, and the companies come from Denmark. The Goa Agreement, the Paris Accord, the World Economic Forum, climate change hysteria, all of this sits under corporatization, not about the people and communities.
No.
So they're throwing shade at us because they're failing, because the energy system is failing, their agenda and narrative is failing. And because of that, they are trying to throw us under the bus. They're trying to do everything they can.
Completely agree. Shall we go to the next pick?
Yeah, let's
Okay,
go
let's have a look at this
to
one.
the next picks, which are these are some responses that we have received from the Illawarra community residents. The projects have been so poorly rolled out that the consultation was a shambles. The government has lied. See, again, the government lied with visualizations. They did it here in the WA consultations too. We've said that from day one. This is all put in our submissions. And they admitted to those lies on the day. I said, why have you not put in the substations? Oh, it kind of looks bad.
Oh, genius. And it does look bad because they look like oil rigs, effectively.
Of course they do.
Okay, out there, and you've got, you know, as I say, the wind turbines. And I want to get away from this word. Please stop using wind farms. Please stop using terms like that.
Yeah,
these are turbines. By the way,
turbines.
They've got diesel generators to get these things
attached
started,
to them when they're not
maintain
working.
them. Yeah, absolutely. These things are environmental disasters, and as I say, economic disasters. And the thing too, what really annoys me greatly, apart from I just don't like being lied to, but I also don't like the fact that all the money's going overseas. We're paying for it, and the profits are going over to Europe.
And this is where it's become such a toxic relationship now and dynamics between this government and everyday Australians. We are not talking about radicals here. We're talking about experts that were in the room that wanted just simple answers to some of their questions to start off positive dialogue.
Yep.
They refused to give that. The other thing that I was going to show was how I was tabled in there, and it said Martine Shepherd. I was named and shamed.
You were.
It's okay for the government to name and shame, but when we call them out and we ask for accountability and transparency, that's not happening.
No.
Let's go to the next blue page.
That one there?
Yeah, this one. So this is another feedback from the Tasmanian crew down there about the offshore wind turbines in the Marinus Link. The intent is to shut down government questioners with false and explosive fear narrative to the general public. So this is where mainstream media and how the sound bites and the clickbait and the hysteria is being used to shut down really positive dialogue that could be happening between different communities, between people that don't know the missing pieces. That's what, again, Martini's Eco Country Bites. There is so many reasons why we need to be having that dialogue, and they're shutting it down.
Exactly right. We don't move forward without conversation, without the dialogue, without hearing opposing views. Hearing the truth would be nice. Like, we keep using these terms, and I say it till the cows come home, about follow the money.
Yeah.
Okay, there's been these accusations of money being travelling to
us. Yeah.
Exactly.
From dark agenda.
Which is just, it is ludicrous, because if we could just see some evidence, because we can actually see the evidence of the money going elsewhere. So that's clear. Okay, there is a trail there. So let's show us, okay, government, if you're going to do this, you're going to gaslight, if you're going to tell these stories, how about you show evidence of the money that is actually going for people who are actually standing up for the environment.
So this is, I agree. So this is going back to the Senate and all of those that accused us of being involved in some skullduggery with dirty money and dirty agendas, when all we've wanted is transparency, real science, facts, information from day one, when we'd done our due diligence and they had zero answers because there's no accountability. There's been no research done before. They've tried to steamroll and fast track this whole thing. And because of that, that's why people are going, you don't get the right to come and steamroll our communities. And because we are awake now, after what happened in 2020 with all of that skullduggery on their side, where they destroyed our businesses, they destroyed our communities, they destroyed our families. People are still homeless because of that and displaced because of that. People have not recovered from that. And because of that, they learnt the lesson the first time, what this government is willing to do for their own narrative.
That's a big reason why there's a massive acceleration of all of this at the moment, because they know that we're onto them.
The gig is up.
They do. They actually have seen that the tide is turning. People power is actually working. Okay, a lot of agencies, a lot of media entities have popped up. Let's face it, Edge Radio Australia is one of them, obviously. So many independent media across the world are now onto this.
Exactly.
Therefore, the public is starting to learn, and it's a great thing.
And so I think what it is that there's a sense of embarrassment when Mr. Bowen can't lay straight in bed, let alone lie to the cameras straight as well. He gets caught out lying all the time. Mr. Albanese's not much better. Mr. What's his name's missing in action.
I don't think Albanese
he's
could
up
do
there on the
straight.
Great Barrier Reef patting himself on the back, while you've got real researchers like Jennifer Marhassi, I'm sorry, I hope they've said that right. Please go and look that up. Who's saying she's calling them all out and they're actually stopping her. So she's saying, I have been reporting on this the whole time, and they have disregarded all of her science, her data, her submissions. That is exactly what they've done. So they've actually got rid of her submissions and cherry-picked only what they wanted. That's exactly what they did with this Senate inquiry, which is why I did not submit one. Do you know why? I'm not playing your game anymore, government.
Oh, look, I'll tell you. I actually submitted, not to this particular inquiry, to another Senate inquiry. I actually put in 2 versions because I like to think I'm on top of it. I tend to think I know what the government are all about. So I put 2 versions in. Okay? One with all the people's names, name and shame, basically, and one with everybody's names redacted. Right, and they sent me a nice little letter saying, or email saying, thank you very much, but we will not be using your submission because it does name and shame people. Didn't say shame, it names people involved in the case. And I said, well, hang on, isn't that very surprising? Because I've sent you both versions, so feel free to use the one that was redacted. Guess what I heard after that? Crickets. Because they realise, hang on, he's on to us, and you've actually set things up. The people don't realise that these government departments and these entities, whether they be the courts, tribunals, Senate inquiries, they pick and choose and actually remove evidence. It's actually quite unlawful. Well, no, it's not unlawful.
It's propaganda.
Yeah, it is.
Because what they're doing is only giving a completely biased view or expression of the situation, just which aligns to what their agenda is. And that agenda is to spend all of our money towards foreign corporations providing us with intermittent, crappy energy supply that is not going to give us any kind of sustainable outcomes for that.
Yeah.
It's not got longevity to it. The greatest we're going to get is maximum 25 years.
Sure.
But what we're going to get after that is a total degradation of our communities, our oceans, the long-going impact. I mean, more and more science is coming out every single day, and that's what they know, is that they know that we have aligned Australia-wide, and not only Australia-wide, internationally. We have informed ourselves. We are consulting with international experts, and they are rattled because they haven't got any answers to back themselves up from probably litigation. I would say there's going to be legal ramifications from this. Yeah, of course.
But on that front, okay, I've come up with this just at the moment, right? Guess what our government's become? Very much used car salesmen. All right, they really have become used car salesmen.
I think that's a bit too
I'm being
complimentary.
being probably very kind there, and probably very unkind to used car salesmen.
Yeah,
but they're telling you the shiny bits, but they're not telling you that the motor is about to blow up.
Yeah,
right. They're not. You are being lied to, and the fact that they believe that this is acceptable to the people who are paying their salaries. Please understand that. That's what we do. We pay the bureaucrats, we pay these politicians, and they, in my eyes, absolutely owe us, well, to be doing the right thing, and they are not.
They owe us a massive apology because the accusations that are going out, I think I'm going to get everyone to get their cameras ready because some of the stuff that's coming up soon, I want you to take screenshots of this. Screenshot it, send it to your MPs and demand answers why this government is treating the people of Australia this way, because this is completely unacceptable. The processes that should be happening are not. Right. There's no accountability, no transparency, and they are trying to basically investigate everyday Australians, which is absolute communism. To say to everyday Australians that we are somehow indicative that the default is we are corrupt because we don't apply to their and subscribe to their narrative,
Martine,
is appalling.
In December, this conversation you and I are having is illegal.
Yeah.
Right now, honestly.
Try us.
Yeah.
Try me.
What?
Go for it.
It's not going to work to shut us up. There's no doubt about that. It's not. Good luck with that.
Good luck with that one.
Shall we pop up the next?
Yeah, look, so I'm going to premise the next one. So this is, again, some of those accusations that were so outrageous. Okay. When I heard this, I got contacted by a few people yesterday, so thank you to you. I was in a bit of, there's big changes happening in my world for really positive reasons, but certainly I was not in a position to give all of this my attention the last couple of days. Not that I'd want to. I'd probably want to punch my phone off my screen because I'm so outraged. So the next one is the absolute pinnacle of lies. So there's going to be an accusation made, and before, get your cameras ready. And I want you to screenshot, record this, download this video, whatever you want. But these individuals now, her name is Blair Police. Blair Police. I mean, is that a real name? Okay, so anyone, research her. See if she's a real human being, if she's just this puppet put in place
to try and discredit her.
She could be. Look, all I can say is that what's going to be said here is so appalling that we were on the phone checking with all groups. This is not only a blatant lie, this is slander, and we're going to come after you because I will not tolerate the kind of abuse that's going on. I started this show off calm. Boy.
You're not holding on to it, I'll tell you right now.
Wait till we get to the last bit of this segment.
But guess what? We should all be passionate about this. This should matter. All right, let's chuck this on the screen and get those screenshots ready, everyone.
Yeah, listen.
Having their say. Is that what
you're
for?
No, absolutely not.
Right? Of course. Just trying to,
If maybe, Senator, you missed our very long earlier discussion about the need for community consultation, how important that is, but removing agents that are spreading disinformation before that conversation is allowed to happen to consider the benefits.
So who are these agents? Who are these agents?
I think we just referred
trying to work out, like, these are community organisations that just don't want a development. Why can't they have their views heard? So why can't they say their views, especially against up against a offshore wind is a multi-billion-dollar industry. You're trying to silence and call them agents of disinformation. Who are these people?
That's not true. We're talking about
community members,
that's overtly untrue that is being inserted into a community. We just discussed having to have police at community meetings because people had been fed disinformation and gotten very upset about stuff that simply is not verifiably true.
But I'm just trying.
We might have to play that again. Did everyone hear that?
Oh, look.
Police were called. Were called to the community consultations.
Let me try and play that again.
Community organisations having their say. Is that what
No,
you're calling
absolutely not.
for? Right?
Of course.
Just trying to, yeah.
If maybe, Senator, you missed our very long earlier discussion about the need for community consultation, how important that is, but removing agents that are spreading disinformation before that conversation is allowed to happen to consider the benefits.
So who are these agents? Who are these agents?
I think we just
trying to work out, like, these are community organisations that just don't want a development. Why can't they have their views heard? So why can't they say their views, especially against up against a offshore wind is a multi-billion-dollar industry. You're trying to silence and call them agents of disinformation. Who are these people?
That's not true. We're talking about
community members, aren't they?
overtly untrue that is being inserted into a community. We just discussed having to have police at community meetings because people had been fed disinformation and gotten very upset about stuff that simply is not verifiably true.
Her name is Blair Police.
But I'm just trying.
Palese, I believe. I would like everyone that's watching this show to track this lady down and demand where her facts are. I want a copy of the police reports.
Yes.
I'm going to go to the police stations in Busselton, in Bunbury, and Mandurah, where the WA were. She is saying that they called the police
on
because
agents. What is this? Are we looking for 007 here? We're talking about mums and dads who are trying to look after the environment for their children to grow up in.
Elderly people that are generational fishermen and residents of the area, founders of that area that are, people that their families founded these areas. They came, this is why the questioning that should have happened, the Q&A that they promised did not happen because they failed. I'm going to lay this out. In WA, what happened is they had a consultation at Bidding Up and a bunch of greenhorns were put on a panel to go up against generational fishermen that were experts in their area, to go up against residents that wanted straight answers and transparency. They had zero answers and they lost control of the narrative. Because of that, people got pissed off and angry. Well, you know what? They should do too. You're going in to destroy their entire communities and their environment that they love and are stewards of for foreign corporations.
I'm just listening to her words and I'm waiting for the brown shirts to come on in.
Yeah.
Like this does absolutely smell of 90 years ago in Germany. It really does.
I'm disgusted.
It's just the fact that you're shutting the public up and you're using the police. Now, I want to really actually throw something here that is annoying me greatly, okay? The police should be a service, not a police force. They shouldn't be agents of the government and the bureaucracy who are out there to control people. They are not a force. They are supposed to be a service. Now, unfortunately, that has very much changed. And the recruiting that has gone by over the last, look, I'm going to say at least the last probably decade or so, the recruiting of police has really changed. And they want people who are very authoritarian, rather. They want that sort of thing. Now, the police are supposed to work for you and I. And when basically this woman here by the name of police, funny enough.
I mean, that in itself is subliminal messaging, just like Wish Wilson was wearing the whale. I'm all for whales, but do not criticize or scrutinize my ideology, my narrative.
Jeez, I hate someone who virtue signals. And to have that statement with a whale pinned to your chest is so fake and so disingenuous.
Totally.
It really is. All right. Well, let's jump to
Okay, so I'm going
to
to just preface the next one. And this is where WA Senator Tyrone Whitten stood up and dropped the bomb. So this is where the truth, and this is where I'm going to try and not get too emotional and angry.
Okay.
Because
good luck with that.
Yeah. So they have accused us of being so aggressive or out of control and not allowing for the transparency to happen.
Sure. Look,
as information.
You're about, I'm going to guess, what, 5'3"? Okay, and I'm probably being generous.
With heels on.
With heels, okay, yeah, exactly.
5 foot and a bit.
And your hair up.
Yep.
Look, and you're supposed to be intimidating and a frightening person. Well, hang on.
Because I speak words of truth.
Well, hang on. There's the problem, right? The modern left, which, let's face it, is the people in power at the moment, they believe that words are violence. So a 5 foot odd woman here who's speaking the truth.
Informed, knowledgeable, educated.
Factual, right? Apparently that's false. All right. Shall I jump into this?
This is Senator Tyron Whitten, who is speaking about the incident that happened in Bustleton. Now, he was under
Murray came about because the sham community consultation event held in Western Australia and hosted by our Federal Department of Environment involved public officers of the department manhandling, pushing and shoving members of my community and an employer of a member of the State Legislative Council. When my constituents came forward to present the details and photos of this physical confrontation to the committee in their submission, they were asked to make the submission confidential. It appears the committee and the Department of Environment did not wish for the details of this physical altercation to be made public. Then the public hearing at which my constituents would have been offered time to have their voices heard was cancelled. This is the utterly disgraceful.
Okay. Now, I want you to talk this through, and I think we'll also replay this after you've spoken, all right?
We're going to play this again, for sure.
I think so.
So in the Bunbury consultation, they cancelled the Q&A. There were a lot of really upset and angry pensioners.
Obviously.
That was in my submission.
Okay.
So in my submission that I put to the federal government about how utterly disgusting and appalling the process of their community consultation was, I used to work for the Department of Environment.
Okay.
I have worked in a lot of different areas and I know what should be happening in processes and procedures because I've been part of that for more than 20 years. They made a mistake with thinking that I was just some random off the street. And this is where they've come undone, is they've done this to everyone because they're very intelligent, educated, informed and well-researched people. I asked them we had a cast of votes in the Bunbury first consultation.
Right.
They were doing conquer and divide. They were physically stopping people at the front door in the Bunbury consultation and asking them, what do you want to know?
So
not like, stopping them from walking in the room.
Okay.
And everyone's lined up. There's hundreds of people in a lineup going like, why can't we just go in, sit down for the Q&A? But no, it was conquer and divide because they had failed so miserably in bidding up.
Sure.
They knew that they couldn't control the narrative because they were so ill-prepared, that they lacked all the knowledge and information that people were asking about. They actually couldn't give a straight answer because if they give a straight answer, it would have been even more of an uproar. And they had already spread lies by their deceptive visuals that was confirmed by the Illawarra, that they had not included all of that information in the visual tools to show, and not just that, they'd already blurred them as well.
Really?
Yeah, they'd blurred the image so that it didn't look like there was such an impact of the wind turbines on the horizon line. Okay. Again, they admitted all of that in the consultation. And when they were asked by a cast of vote, I said in a democratic process, this is not acceptable. People came for a Q&A. I said, can we please resume a Q&A with a microphone, have one answer, one question all at the same time so people don't have to repeat themselves. People that had hearing problems, all kinds of issues, could not hear anything. Everyone was getting really angry. And I said, in the process of not to de-escalate the situation, let's go back to what you promised the people. Oh, imagine that, the government going back on their promises. It was in black and white. It was a Q&A session. So that's what they threw that out the window. So after that happened and they beelined me as a disruptor, well, you betcha I'm going to be a disruptor in this process because this is a community that I love and I have been a steward of for a very long time. I studied marine science, so you know what? Eyes on you. I had all the questions ready to go and they didn't like it.
But the thing is, you shouldn't have to go to that level. The process should actually give everybody a fair opportunity to speak about it. No. Well, yeah, we're supposed to be in a democratic society. We're not supposed to be being pushed around like this. And the fact that they got physical... Now you've lost the argument.
Okay, we're going to refer back to Senator Tyron Whitten said on record, on Hansard, that multiple people were manhandled at the Bustleton consultation. So Matt Canavan, Senator Malcolm Roberts, Tyron Whitten, we need to get all of you and Senator Antic, we need Barnaby Joyce on this. We're calling out to all of you. You need to share this video with all of these people
Agreed.
and say, we want you to investigate why people were manhandled, and it's okay for the government to act in such a way, but then they're trying to throw shade at us.
Of course.
So we're going to play that one more time because we want to get really clear what Senator Tyron Whitten has said.
Inquiry came about because the sham community consultation event and held in Western Australia and hosted by our Federal Department of Environment involved public officers of the department manhandling, pushing and shoving members of my community and an employer of a member of the State Legislative Council. When my constituents came forward to present the details and photos of this physical confrontation to the committee in their submission, they were asked to make the submission confidential. It appears the committee and the Department of Environment did not wish for the details of this physical altercation to be made public. Then the public hearing at which my constituents would have been offered time to have their voices heard was cancelled. This is the utterly disgraceful.
It is utterly disgraceful.
It is beyond utterly. That's actually physical abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually called assault. Someone touching you without your consent is called assault. So if the government has been allowed to assault people, this is going to be interesting. So we're going to go to the next image is part of my submission that went to the federal government in its processes of its consultation and the feedback and why it failed. Let's go to that picture. Get your cameras out and record this. You can see me in the background. So having my photo taken in there because someone said they love the T-shirt. Now, this person on the other side, you can see what they're doing.
Quite clearly, yeah.
Do you think that shoving your hand in someone's face could be classified as assault? Let's ask people. Let's get the feedback here. You can read down the bottom.
No matter how you swing it, it's not appropriate, right? And what right has she got to do to interfere like that?
Who is this staff member? We want to know, who is this member of the Department of Climate Change, Energy, Environment and Water? How are they allowed to do this to everyday people? But the likes of Nola Marino that were there and other politicians were allowed to have their entire media staff there taking photos, but no one was allowed to take a photograph of me with the T-shirt on.
Ooh.
So explain to me, Mr. Bowen, where your transparency is, where this is going. Mr. Albanese, the whole lot of you, explain this photo.
Martine, you've jumped into something you shouldn't have done, okay? Now, Bowen is too busy. He's got TikToks to make, okay? And Albanese's got a lot of frequent flyer points to get.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of dinners to go to. He's got a lot of opportunities to be snubbed by Donald Trump. I mean, he's a very busy man.
Yeah.
He has no time to actually be here to represent the people who are paying his wages. We, right now, with the ALP, with the Australian Labor Party in power, we have nothing but a government of control, a government that is pushing socialism
rotten to its core.
To its core, into communism. Now, 50 years ago, we fired a government for less than this.
Yeah.
For less than this.
This is a public place. This area is part of the city of Bustleton. The deputy mayor was there right behind me.
Okay.
So what I want is I challenge these staff members and the Department of Climate Change and Energy, Environment and Water to come at me and accuse me of what they have accused me of being disruptive when their staff were manhandling, as Mr. Tyron Whitten has said. Mr. Tyron Whitten, our senator here, has told everyone in Australia on record, on Hanside, that people were physically manhandled.
That's right.
And that this photo, look what that is. When you shove your hand in someone's face, is that assault? People, you get back to me. Do you think that's assault? And this is what they did and doctored my submission.
Now, hang on. They doctored the submission. So they have altered evidence. Right?
They altered evidence.
Let's have a look at this.
Of this in federal government in my submission. So you can see here, this is what they did.
Okay.
They cut out the fact that you couldn't see properly the lanyard around that individual's neck, that it was her hand. It could have been anyone's hand, and cut out her face. So it wouldn't look like what it was, right?
Well, that way.
So
look,
this is how the government is covering up the way that it's treating
the government.
us.
Politicians believe in this thing called plausible deniability, right? Now, by taking the image of the person out, they can say, hey, that's anybody's hand, right? You cannot identify that. So that's what they've done. They've created plausible deniability, which is just another way of lying. Lying by omission is still lying.
Of course it is.
You can name it misinformation, disinformation. You can name it all these different things. It's a blatant lie.
And it's propaganda.
Of course it is. As Australians, we have every right to hear the truth and see the truth.
And present the truth as it is. There's a photograph with evidence of exactly what happened.
Now,
they tried to accuse me of being disruptive, but I can tell you now, there was a room full of hundreds of people that observed me and my behaviour.
Sure.
And I can tell you now, let's do that. Let's put an inquiry out there. And let's ask those people that were physically touched by the Department of Climate Change, Energy, Environment and Water, who was touched by them at that consultation. Start writing off to these senators and say, I experienced that too, because I know there were a lot of people that had the same thing happen.
There you go. There you go. And again, I'm going to keep saying this because it's very important. It's not because I'm just promoting the hell out of Edge. I'm promoting the hell out of every piece of independent media out there.
Yeah.
Because in a couple of months, and look, what are we doing? We're about 10 weeks away.
Silence us for this?
They're trying to silence us now. So
silence
only
this behaviour?
This behaviour, exactly right. Now, this is propaganda. That video, that picture, the edited photograph is pure propaganda. That is illegal for us to show you in a couple of months, a few weeks' time. This is not on. We have to stand up for ourselves, and we actually have to. This government will not be fired because, let's face it, the Governor General was appointed by the Prime Minister himself. You know, there's a very handshake deal there, clearly, right?
Yeah.
So that's not going to happen. But when it comes to the next election, when you're thinking about who you vote for, please, you keep away from these socialists. You keep away from the Labor Party. You keep away from the Teals. You keep away from the Greens. Now, I'm not promoting the Liberal Party here. I'm just saying, do your bloody research. Do your research on these people before. This is our way that we need
let them into a place of power.
Spot on.
All I can say is that Australians should be, I don't care what you come from, whether you're in support of this or not.
Yep.
If anyone condones this kind of behaviour, they need to put themselves in check.
They really do. They really
to think that you can treat the public, electors, residents of the area because
total
they
disdain.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And they have no right to go around and conduct themselves that way. So, you know what? You've accused us with your inquiry of all of these things. Well, you know what? Clap back from me, because I tell you right now, that is a mic drop. I want the Department of Climate Change, Environment, Energy and Water. You come at me, because I tell you right now, I'm not alone.
No.
Do you think I'm the only person sitting here going, that happened to me?
Do you know what I love about this?
Do you know how many people have said that?
When you come after people like this, specifically if you make it, if you make it personal, guess what you do, government, all right? You actually give them more power, right? Because you put them in a position where they've got less to lose and more power to you. So it's your own stupidity for doing this sort of thing.
So what am I going to do, lose my high income position as the campaign coordinator?
That's right.
I don't think so.
I think you'll be fine.
I think I'm good.
All right, let's finish the show. Thank you very much for letting me sit in on a very important
Mr. Malloy, I know you're in this with us.
150%.
We're all getting censored and we're all getting shut down for speaking the truth. All I can say is to all the communities out there that are standing up against this corruption, this absolute tyranny, we will not tolerate it. We need to stand united and no longer let this happen. This has been Martini's Eco and Country Bites on Edge Radio. I'm Martine Shepherd. Thanks, Aaron Malloy.
Been my pleasure. Thank you very much for being part of it. And, of course, you can catch the replay on the weekend of this wonderful show on edgeradioaustralia.com at 2 p.m.
Saturdays?
So, it's all over the place. I'll tell you,
it's everywhere.
It's so good. But I'm talking about one specific replay. You're very excited. Look,
I think this is going to be interesting how much we get censored from this. So share the heck out of it and take a lot of screenshots. Screenshot in peace.
Share it left, right and centre. Thanks for being part of the show here at Edge Radio Australia.